AP Calculus AB product rule practice problems. So here's the first one I want to look at today. So I'm always making a list. I think if you're a list builder, you make many fewer mistakes in calculus. So I'm just going to say f of x, the first function is this function times this one, isn't it? So the first one is f of x is equal to x. F prime at x is equal to 1, because I think we can agree that the slope of x is just 1, isn't it? Now, I'm going to building this so I can use the product rule on it. So g of x is equal to cosine x is equal to cosine x. And g prime at x, well, what's the first derivative of cosine? If you have to have memorized that, it's opposite sine x. I want to go back and address a little mistake that might be made here. I've seen people do this before. They multiply x times cosine x and they get cosine squared x or cosine of x squared. Not true. Not true. This is its own argument. Cosine x cosine is the argument, is the function, and here's its argument. So you cannot multiply these two. If you multiply x times cosine x, you get x times cosine x. Please make a note to yourself. Please, please, please. Now I just want to remind you what the product rule is. The product rule is d dx of f of x times g of x is equal to f of x times g prime at x plus g of x times f prime at x. So all I'm going to do is take my list and I'm going to apply it to that rule. So f of x we said was x. G prime at x we said was opposite sine x. This plus sign is this one. G of x we agreed is cosine x, and f prime at x is 1. So all I'm doing is FITBA, filling in the blanks. Now this is going to be my f prime at x. I'm going to multiply these things. Be careful. Be a little bit careful here. X times opposite sine x is negative x sine x plus cosine x times 1 is cosine x. And I think that will be sufficient. All right? So there's the first derivative. Let's do one more quickly, and it will look like this. Let's do f of x. We're looking for f prime at x, right? Let's say f of x is equal to x squared. F of x, this function that we're looking at, times 2x cubed plus x. I just made this one up, so it's not the prettiest thing you ever saw in your life. Now I'm going to make my list. Now I'm going to take this f of x. Now I'm going to break this function f of x into two different functions. This other, if I could say it like, this is f of x, orange f of x, this whole thing, and this is green f of x. So because I need to use this notation, is x squared, and of course the first derivative of x squared is 2x, isn't it? Now I'm going to keep moving. The second function here that's being multiplied by is, we're going to call that g of x, and g of x is equal to 2x cubed plus x. Its derivative, of course, g prime at x, is equal to 6x squared plus 1. And here, I'm just going to go ahead and use that same rule. I'm going to use f of x times g of x. So f of x times g prime at x. There's f of x. G prime at x we said was 6x squared plus 1. Plus, this is me using the product rule. Hopefully you have that in front of you. Times g of x. And g of x we said was 2x cubed plus x. And then we wanted to multiply that by f prime at x. And f prime at x is 2x is equal to f prime at x. When I say f prime at x, I'm talking about the derivative of this big function here. All right? So I'm saying the derivative of this big function here, this f of x, f prime of x, is the derivative of that function up there. All right? Now, if you want, you know what, we might as well clean it up a little bit, just to do the right thing, because always going to have to do our algebra, and that's what you're going to find on the AP exam, is that they're going to ask you a lot of the questions. They're going to simplify it out, and they're going to do a lot of really important algebra, and you have to be willing, you have to be able to see that algebra. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute here. This times this times this, and then this times this, and then this times this, and I believe that that would give us 6x to the fourth plus x squared plus 4x to the fourth plus 2x squared. And I think the final derivative, f prime at x, is going to equal, well, let's see what we have. We have 6x to the fourth, 4x to the fourth for 10x to the fourth. Is that right? I use that, and I use that, plus 3x squared is our derivative. So, look, I hope that was helpful. Got to practice this a million times, and you're going to get so good at it. You're going to speak it like a different language, and it's going to be fantastic, but you got to do your work. All right? Thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe.